Good morning, everybody. Msfs Simmer here. So here in Wilmington, getting ready to get our VIPs going. So getting the plane ready so that they can come on board and get on our way. So we will be heading in this episode for Walker Tour's Nascar 2025 tour. We are heading to Indianapolis and the famous Brickyard Speedway, or Indy Speedway, for the Brickyard 400. So, gonna get moving, as always, pretty quickly. Get our APU starting up. Get our lights on. Let people know we're around. And the crew and everyone will do their thing while I do mine. So, welcome as always. We've got, again, they were at Dover this last weekend. It was the Challenge Round 4 at the Auto Trader Echo Park Automotive 400, and the winner was Denny Hamlin. So, always fun stuff going on. And again, we're heading out for Sunday, July 27th at 2 p.m., the famous Brickyard 400, this year presented by PPG, will be taking place. So if you know anything about the Brickyard, most people, if you know anything about racing at all, you know something about the famous Indianapolis Motor Speedway. 2.5 mile rectangle, basically. I wouldn't really call it an oval. It's got 4 very distinct curves, 4 very distinct straightaways. So, you know, it'll be 160 laps around to make those 400 miles. So, very similar to some degree Daytona. Although I think Daytona, I think it is 2.5 as well. But, so, we're going to need to get our flight plan loaded. Alright, so we're going to import the flight from SimBrief, and we're going to change this. We're coming in on 23 left, so we're going to want the ILS. And, well, actually, is it the ILS? It is ILS, but I'm not seeing, because I want Larry. Now, what's the difference between... Oh, I see, that's the RNAV. So, yeah, it is a little odd, the way this... Oh, no, I don't want the RNAV. But wait a minute. Oh, hold on. I want the ILS. Can I do that? No, maybe it's up here. Let's see if it looks right. ILS, Larry, yep. Sync pot 2 with Rhinite. I think we're good there. So that'll just jump in and hopefully bring us in exactly where we need. So we're going to load this in to our ATC. Should be okay on fuel. We need about 6,100, so the 7,200 we've got loaded is nice. We're trying, again, the say intentions with the AI Living World. It's kind of our default here for this series until if and when we start having trouble. So clearance 11995, 11995. Transfer that. Should be set. Newcastle clearance, Walker 4021 requesting IFR to Indianapolis.
1 second while I grab the paperwork.
Alright, so we're gonna just hop in here, make sure we're good. Just looking for any discontinuities. Nope. Should be all set. Biggest thing we're going to have here is we're going to want to set this to flight level 340. We'll get that in. That should then hopefully get us what we need. There are no departures here in Wilmington. We are flying into the main airport at Indianapolis, so Indianapolis International. Let's see, has it put anything around here? I don't see anything around here right now. Lots of flights around. So if I go to little nav map, this is what AI Living World does. These are planes created and controlled by, say, intentions. So as we go in there, like, you know, we're here. These are all around. We're not obviously going to hear them now because they're flying. But if someone was to be on the ground here with us, that's one thing. But, you know, there is something going on. And these call signs will potentially get called. So we'll hear some Brickyards, some Endeavors, Legions. You know, we'll see how it all goes. But it does not look like Wilmington has anything. He's still trying to get the paperwork. So we're likely going to need to be in, let's say, 4,000. That tends to be what it does. We want VNav and nav. Get ourselves set there. Our barometric pressure, 3025. So let's dial that in. That's why we were at negative 200 when we started adjusting. But as you can see, about 80 feet is what it's setting us as here. Alright, we're still waiting on this paperwork. This is a little crazy.
Walker 4021
there
cleared
we
to
go.
Indianapolis. Radar vectors MODI. Nah, then is filed. Climb and maintain 3000. Expect flight level 340 10 minutes after departure. Departure on 118.35 squawk 3672.
Right, so
Expect
it's down to
runway
3.
1 second while I grab the paperwork.
Wilmington clearance, smooth 84. Juliet cleared to Harrisburg. Radar vectors MXC that was filed. Climb maintain 10,000. Expecting 16,000 after departure. 118.35. Squawk 3152. Expecting runway 1842.
Clearance delivery, full flight 10, requesting IFR clearance to Charlotte.
Give me 1 second for that clearance.
There's a lot going on. Cleared to Indianapolis. Radar vectors MXC then is filed. Climb and maintain 3000. Expect flight level 340 minutes after departure. Departure on 11835, squawk 3672. Expect runway 14, Walker 4021. Alright,
Walker 4021.
so that's what I'm expecting. Alright, so now let me get to ground, which is 121.7. 1217. Alright, because we are ready to go. We've got our flight plan loaded. Everything is good. Newcastle ground, Walker 4021, requesting start. I don't need a push.
Walker 4021, start approved.
Start approved, Walker 4021. So we'll get this on run. Get this on run, and we'll get this one going. Whoops. Hold it a little bit. Alright. So we're going to spool up the engines. Going to get our stabilizer down. You can see on the left bottom there, numbers moving. We're down there. We're going to get our flaps down to first position. So takeoff configuration here. Pretty basic. We don't have Walker liveries yet in MS 2024 for the Asobo planes. I think they're having some problems. So we just kind of fly them generically, but that will change. You know, that's why I still do a pilot's life in 2020. Well, aside from the fact that I'm flying large aircraft and things like that. All right. So that one should be good. Let's fire up the left, and then we can turn off the APU. Because, yeah, if I ask for push and start, then, you know, we're going to, theoretically, they're going to think we're pushing back, and usually I'm not worried about that, so, we'll see how that goes. I'm really zooming in over on my Navigraph, so we'll see how that all works out. Alright, so we're facing... Interesting, because it's kind of showing we're facing... Yeah, I guess we are, the way we want to go. Because basically the runway is right... is it there? Yeah, I think so. But I think we want to go out. Because it's only a 4,000 foot runway. It's pretty short. Not even a mile. And so, you know, we definitely don't want to have that. Alright, we'll turn this off. Newcastle, ground, Walker 4021, ready for taxi.
Walker 4021, taxi to runway 14 via Kilo 6.
Runway 14 via Kilo 6, Walker 4021. Again, I think, I don't know, he might be taking us closer. Let's see. Yeah, he is, and I don't want to do that, so we might have some trouble getting clearance. Let me see if I can use some natural language and see if we can get a change. Let me see. I guess let me zoom in here. Because, yeah, I do not want to go to... Oh, no. Okay. Kilo 6 is good. That gets me on the threshold, so... So, yeah, I think I was looking at runway 9er out there otherwise, but let's try to be a little bit more proper here, so get that. We'll get our seatbelts on for the folks. I do a terrible job with that. And we'll get rid of that, and we will get going. So, welcome aboard. As always, if you enjoy anything you see on the channel, please drop a like and subscribe. Those things are very helpful for the channel and are very appreciated by me, and I thank you very much for giving that consideration and hopefully acting on those things. So, at this point, Indy's showing VFR. We don't expect any weather along the way. Longer flight, you know, unless I'm really short, I kind of, you know, get us up in the air, do a little bit, and then we cut to descent. Alright, so let me switch to tower, which is 1260. Alright, and then departure is 118535. So we want to get that in the box, and we're good. Newcastle Tower, Walker 4021, runway 14, ready for takeoff. Did I hit the wrong button? I don't think so.
Walker 4021, Wilmington Tower, runway 14, winds 150 at 7. Fly runway heading, cleared for takeoff.
Fly runway heading, cleared for takeoff. Walker 4021. Alright, so the shortest taxiway in history. Not quite, but probably have our safety light on too. Alright. ET's time, as Rafiki would say. But he's not a flight simmer, so I'll say it. It is time. Alright.
Skyhawk 542 Alpha X-ray expedite climb to 2,000 feet traffic on departure.
Okay, that's not me, but that could be something that happens in the living world. Alright, so the thing is, yeah, because it's 4,000 from up there. But, you know, I just don't want to have a problem. So, that is where I think 4,000 begins, and we're already going 90. So that is beautiful, because that means we can get off the ground here. I hate that flicker in the window, much as you do. So, alright, we're going to get the auto throttle engaged. And, whoops, we're going to get the autopilot engaged as well. And hopefully, we'll be good.
Walker 4021, contact departure.
Contact departure, Walker 4021. Wilmington departure, Walker 4021 with you. Now I'm...
Walker 4021, Philadelphia departure, radar contact. Climb and maintain flight level 340, turn left heading 345, vectors to Modena, then own navigation.
Climb and maintain flight level 340, vectors to Modena, then own navigation, Walker 4021. Alright, so once he gets up to speed, he should start doing things, I would hope. Got everything. Let me put the flaps up, that will help. Then we'll be able to, those are up. But let me zoom this out. So yeah, we're just trying, we got 15 nautical miles. And at this point, we're going to do flight level change because it is not responding. And he's going to start yelling at me to expedite my climb if I don't start doing something soon. Because we're sitting here at 1,000 feet. We didn't even get to 3. I probably should get more in the habit of maybe, so yeah, a little bit of a rocket ship attitude here, but we are able to do that with these planes because they've got a lot of thrust to begin with. Now again, we're finally at 3,000 feet now. I'm getting that a lot lately. I don't understand. It's been working fine before, and I've got the auto FPS thing that is supposed to kind of target things. It's keeping it. It's telling me I'm at 56 frames a second right now. I was at 28. You know, it usually does a pretty good job of keeping things in line. And again, it might have been because I was out and looking at the ground, and now we don't, you know, it does seem to come up when I take the external view of the plane, and I'm also wondering if it's because I'm zoomed in. Yeah, like now I'm not. I mean, we'll see, it'll prove me wrong, but you can see, like, things are filling in, because it is lowering the OLD level of detail, the object level of detail, and I think terrain level of detail is still up there, but... Alright. So, coming up on 10,000 feet.
1145, slow to 170 knots, 5 mile final contact.
Can turn our landing off.
118.3, good night.
And we can turn off our seatbelts. And
good night, American 1145.
everyone can start doing their thing.
Contact Baltimore Tower on 119.4. Over to Baltimore Tower on 119.4. Envoy 3843.
But we have about 400, just under 500 nautical miles. Now, we're heading, as you can see, pretty close to due north here. And then we're going to make that turn at Modena, I guess is what he said, it was what the
United
VOR
1341,
of
radar
MXC
contact.
is.
Climb and maintain 11, 11000.
Climb
So-
11, 1000, United 1341.
So I'm going to go ahead. There may be some new folks. I really don't talk about it a lot, and I probably should do more. If you're interested in flight simming or new to flight simming and you don't have an aviation background, which is my situation, I do have a series on the channel which is Flight Sim for non-aviators. You might want to look up that playlist, and that will help you kind of get over that hurdle of intimidation that most people typically feel, myself included, in the beginning, which is why I made the series, and I'm happy to add more things to the series if people are like, hey, I need to understand how to do this. Can you help me out? Drop me a note anywhere on any of the things. Heck, put it on a golf video, a farming video. I don't care. You know, wherever you think it'll get my attention. Obviously, Discord's always a good thing. I always encourage folks to join the Discord channel for those types of chats, because they can get a little more involved. But go ahead and let me know. But yeah, as far as reading charts, figuring out what to do, knowing how to navigate, kind of learning everything you need to enjoy Flight Sim, because it is a fun thing. You know, I'm not one of those, I have not invested in some fancy rig. I've got a HOTAS like off on the side. I kind of have to sit in front of a drawer, and actually I usually run it, you know, not really being in front of it. I'm a little off to the side, but my arms do reach over. I have special arms like that. And you know, you can make do without spending a ton of money. I found this HOTAS at a flea market for $35, which is like half off. So even if you buy it new, I think it's $70. It makes it a lot easier than just trying to fly with like an Xbox gamepad, which is what I did for a long time, which was also okay, but it did not offer the level of control or anything like that. So he's slowing down. This is a normal function. It will go up to what it looks like 305 here. So he basically levels out so that the thrust can help accelerate the plane, push through the drag. So all these concepts that you will learn if you watch that series, and even if you, I mean, if you're an aviator, you won't need it, but if you're just curious...
I need you at flight level 340, sir.
Yeah, I know. I'm working on it. See? So he's already upset. But I think because I'm leveling out, I think he thinks maybe I'm not. Now, he should change. I'm giving him a little bit of time here.
1555, contact approach
Come on.
125.8. Contacting approach
I don't
125.8.
understand.
American
All right.
1555.
Fine. We will expedite again, and so the throttles will go up, because we need more thrust
Walker
to
4021,
generate more
contact
lift.
New York Center on 135.45.
Contact New York Center 13545, Walker 4021. Thanks for the service. Alright, so just checking if they're going to respond. Sometimes they do. It's kind of fun. Oops. New York Center, Walker 4021, flight level 280, climb flight level 340.
Walker 4021, New York Center, good morning.
Alright. So now we're up in the wild blue yonder. And so at this point, it's as good a point as any, I'm going to let you go, get ourselves across the country, get a little closer to Indianapolis. I can't quite tell where I'm at. Let's see, let me zoom out. Lancaster is showing on my Navigraph north of us here. So in that direction, basically a little behind us, so maybe it's what we're seeing here, not sure. Probably more like that. I think that's Lancaster, Pennsylvania, so that would make sense because we've gone about 50 miles, so Delaware and all those others are not that big. But anyway, I will keep going, and we'll return as we get a little bit closer.
Delta 1892, flight level 350.
Hi everybody, it's your Simmer. I'm back, and we're starting to descend, so I had to request the descent, kind of trying to follow the chart a little bit. So if we take a look here, we're just coming in this area. We need to be above 24,240 here, below 230 there, between flight level 190 and 14,000. The sink pit and, you know, everything through to Babney, supposed to be crossing Larry at between 8,000 and 9,000 feet. So we'll talk through that a little bit as we go. So again, for Jeter, we are needing to be above 24. So you can see it's now starting to slow that down. You know, we've kind of got our bottom, top of descent, whatever you want to call it. Now there's a bottom of descent at 914. It was V-speed required was about 1700 a little while ago.
Southwest 142,
So,
turn left, heading 190.
Now,
To 190, Southwest 142.
we're not that far from Jeter. We're only 7 miles away.
Contact Indianapolis Center on 133.4250.
But that was a quick drop of, you know, we're basically going down about 10,000 feet already, so about 2 miles in a quick distance. And so they were saying they were going to call 20 minutes for descent, which was about 8 minutes later than I wanted, and I was just worried we still wouldn't have descended from Jeter, and maybe we wouldn't have because we probably could have gotten to 23,000 without too much effort. But you know, hopefully it'll follow a little bit better path at this point, because it did go back to V path now, and it's trying to do what it needs to. We've dialed in the barometer. 3013 is what I've seen on the charts. They'll obviously call that into us. Right now, I'm maintaining control of comms. I did not switch things over. But what I was saying is, I'm maintaining comms because it is a pretty straight-in flight over. We passed over Dayton, kind of a good ways north of Dayton, Ohio. So we are now northwest of Dayton. I think we're crossing into Indiana. Well, I don't know if that's the border or not. Actually, no, I can see it behind us. So we are in Indiana now. And we're basically going straight in through Dotkey to Sinkpot. And then we'll finally turn. But, you know, always a bit of a challenge sometimes with the calls, especially with busy airspace, but I don't know if Indy's going to get a little crazy or not. Even so, we'll call when we need to. Again, at Dotkey, we need to be below 2,300. So you can see we have a setting there, which is interesting, but kind of pointless. So really the floor we should have is 14,000, but that probably won't switch until we're past Dotkey. And then we need to be, again, between flight level 190 or 19,000 feet and 14,000. So again, since I've kind of started this video with a little bit of the aviation or flight sim for non-aviators, basically, there's a transition altitude at 18,000 feet, so at that point...
Contact Chicago Center on 119.85. Switching to Chicago Center on 119.85, United 2201.
At that point, you transition from flight level...
Chicago Center on 119.85.
And you go from flight level 180 to feet to 17,000, 16,000. It's just kind of the standard in the U.S. So at this point, that's why the barometer's blinking. So we'll change that. That'll cause us to fall a little faster because VPATH is trying to maintain the descent rate. So it suddenly gained about 100 feet and needed to make that up, and now it's kind of settling back in where it was. But now you can see the 14,000 dialed in to the box, which is, you know, sent from the flight computer. And, you know, where this is telling me is the bottom of descent will be in a little over 5 minutes, where we should reach 8,000 feet. So again, there is a between position. And so, you know, again, we're reading these things. So a line above, so this was flight level 230. This is less than and then greater than. So I need to be between this. And here at Babney, you can see it's 15,000, 11,000. But then what happens, so you can see for runway 23 left, transition, see instructions. So what we're doing then is, you know, from 23 left, we go from Cuck on track 243 to cross FEMGO between 8,000 and 9,000. So it's actually FEMGO. Then on track 231, cross Larry at or above 5,000 at 210.
24.65.
Contact Indianapolis approach 2465, Walker 4021. Indianapolis approach. Indianapolis approach, Walker 4021. Flight. Indianapolis approach, 14,000 feet descending to 8,000. Walker 4021.
Walker 4021, good afternoon.
Alright, so it had given me some info. Altimeter 3015, approach into Indy via Larry. So that's exactly what we're doing. You know, and at this point we're through sink pot, so we needed to be above, and now we need to be again 15 to 11,000. Well, I guess it's 11,500. It was between Babney. And then again, at FameGo, we're going to have the 18,000, but I should be able to dial myself down to 5, which is what I need to be in at Larry. And again, I'm supposed to be at 210 as far as the speed at Larry. Alright, once we hit 10,000, we need to be at 250, so, but we're not going to do that till we get past Babney. It doesn't tell us where to cross elevation-wise at Cuck, but it's FameGo that needs 8,000 to 9. So I'm sure once we get through Babney here in a moment, there we go, 8,000 has become our point here. And you can see we're slowing because below 10,000 we need to be at 250. Again, those are just airspace standards in the US. So, but we are still on the Sink Pot 2 approach. So just to be clear. And, you know, descending at 1450, we're going to go ahead and pull our landing monitor up here.
Hotel Lima, maintain present speed. Super H380 behind you.
Maintaining speed, Niner Hotel Lima.
Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. I just touched my throttle because I was hoping to have it in the right position, but didn't. Because, yeah, the auto throttle, sometimes the throttles, like on the 737s, they don't matter. Because they're disconnected, basically, until you disengage the auto throttle. But here, if you pull on them, they will, after a certain amount of movement, they will go ahead and change. Alright, so we need the landing lights on. I'm gonna get the seatbelt and passenger safety on so people will know it is time to buckle up. Hopefully the crew had made an announcement.
Chicago on 119.85. Over to Chicago on 119.85.
Now we're going to hit Fingo very quickly. We're going to turn a bit on Seacock so you can see 243. That's the approach and the instructions we were given in the chart. So obviously the flight computer understands what is expected as well and is going ahead and setting that to 243. But you can see we're only 2 miles away. We need to be between 8 and 9,000 once we cross Fingo. And then the next point will be Larry, and that will be 5. And then we're going to dial this down to, say, 3, and we'll go from there. So there we go. 9,000 is where we're coming up. So we're kind of at the limit, which is not good. And now we need to get to 5. So, but it has 12 miles to do that. So it's usually every 3 miles it can drop 1,000 feet. So in essence, I can go down 4,000 feet. So that would get me to 40. Well, it would get me to 5,000. So it should be pretty basic. But this is in essence now a straight-in approach to the runway. So we'll see how that goes. But we want to be at or above 5,000 at Larry. But at this point, I am going to switch to, let's see. We'll switch to the other chart just to see what we've got. So Larry at 5, Bird 4,000, which is another 3 miles away. So again, just a nice, smooth glide path.
Proceed direct B-Bird, descend and maintain 4,000, altimeter 30.12 until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 23 left approach.
Proceed direct B-Bird, descend and maintain 4,000, altimeter 30.12 until established on localizer. Cleared for runway 23 left, ILS approach, Walker 4021. Alright, so technically to follow along with the instructions we've been given, what we're going to do is we're going to go to B-Bird and we're going to go direct and we're going to activate direct to B-Bird. So we're in essence ignoring Larry.
118.3, good night, Delta 1316.
And we know we need to be at 4,000, which is what it put in there. I'm going to lower the flaps because we're below F1, because the other thing at Larry, we're supposed to be a maximum of 210. And so we're not at Larry yet. So, but you can see Indianapolis out through the window there. So we'll be passing a little bit north of the city, north and east, heading straight into the airport, and we can basically start to make out the runways in the haze there. So there we go, 210. So we've hit the max 210. We're going down to 200, so it'll be even better. We are going to set the approach. So now the localizer and the glide slope activate, and once those are acquired and grabbed, you'll start to see them move. So right now we're still on the flight management system, or the flight computer. And,
Walker 4021, contact Indy Tower on 120.9er.
Contact Tower 120.9er, Walker 4021. Indy Tower, Walker 4021. On final approach, runway 23 left.
Walker 4021. 21, Indy Tower, winds 170 at 5. Runway 23 left, cleared to land.
Runway 23 left, cleared to land, Walker 4021. Alright, so the localizer's just been acquired. Now we're coming up on 3000. There we go, and the glide slope has now been acquired. So at this point, it should be pretty smooth. There's a possibility it won't be. So that's why we have our butts in the seat. Oh yes, I need landing gear down when I go to the last level of flaps, so we just got a bit of warning there, but they're going down, so there we go. Alright, down, down, down. Everything green. And now again, on auto throttle, it is doing what it needs to start stabilizing, because again, we have a ton of drag with these flaps extended down and the wheels down and all that. So there's a lot going on, but 2-3 left. That is us. We'll usually let everything continue on its own until, say, I don't know, 500 feet, although I usually let it go lower than that. But you can see we're passing through, or getting ready to. We were close to 2,000, then it jumped up to over 2,100. So again, as the terrain moves around a bit, obviously, there's some things. So now we're passing through Packer, or Pacer, probably Pacer, Indianapolis Pacers. A lot of times they'll name these points for things around the city, but I don't see any max speed or anything like that.
Mooney 824 Foxtrot Delta, reduce speed to 160 knots, traffic on final. Slowing to 160 knots, Mooney 824 Foxtrot Delta.
But I think what I'm going to try to do is, at about 1,000 feet, I think I'm going to disable the auto throttle, and I'm going to see if I can kind of maintain things, because then when I disengage the autopilot, it'll be a little bit easier to deal with. Now, I think we're not that far out here. 3.5 miles, so we'll see. I'm kind of trying to wait, but I'm worried I'm getting too darn close. Alright, so now, oh, I've got to press it twice, sorry. Ah. Alright, it should be off now. And now I just need to watch my speed, because at this point, you know, we're kind of controlling this the way we should be, so just get my view. Of course, I can't see my speed, which is not good. Alright, we're going faster than we want. But see, at this point, the autopilot is doing things. It's just not managing the throttle anymore, and so what I don't want to do is fall below that 110, but obviously the closer I get to that 110, the better we'll be. Alright, and at this point, we're going to disengage the autopilot, and we are going to fly this in, is what we would normally be doing. Alright, so I'm a little low, but I should be okay. Ooh, a little bit of a... Okay, we'll disengage, and now we'll just try to bring it in. Not bad. Not bad. Alright, a lot of FedEx planes on the ground here. Okay, so we've got the throttle back. Alright, I assume... I don't know which way I need to vacate. But I'm going to vacate here. Otherwise we might Well, I'm thinking that's the cargo terminal, so I'm going to go up here and go off this direction. Yes, I'm trying to kind of keep moving, because obviously normally they'd have planes behind that are going to want to use this runway. So, and again, the thing I learned not too long ago, it's been months now, but you need to cross this line.
121.9er.
So you want to go here and now stop fully past that. That's where you vacate. You don't stop before. Flight simmers do it wrong all the time, I guess. Contact ground 121.9, Walker 4021. Indianapolis ground, Walker 4021, ready to taxi to gate.
Walker 4021, Indy ground, taxi to B6 via Charlie Romeo Hotel. Have a good day.
Taxi to B6 via Charlie Romeo Hotel, Walker 4021. Assuming that's to the right. Yep. Just making sure. So we'll get our flaps up.
Taxiing to parking via Bravo Cherokee. 315 X-ray Papa.
Okay, at this
United
point,
510 Indianapolis ground, taxi to parking at your discretion.
I
Have a good
do
day.
need get my taxi lights on. Turn the landing lights off. And then, okay. Then we'll go here. So there we go. So at least I vacated the right way. It just didn't make sense with all the FedEx planes over there. I'm like, that has got to be the cargo terminal. Clearly they won't put us there. Now it's interesting they are sending us to a gate, which normally they probably wouldn't do on a plane like this, but at a kind of a mid-sized airport, mid to small, you know, I don't know. You know, I don't want to offend Indianapolisites, or whatever you guys call yourselves. But, you know, I don't know if they're considered mid-size or small. But, you know, at a smaller airport than, say, an O'Hare or an Atlanta or something like that. Okay, this isn't looking good. Do I keep going here? I'm thinking it turned somewhere and... Alright, let me see if I... What was it? Charlie Romeo Hotel. Okay, now Romeo is up here. And then we're coming in to gate Bravo 6. Alright, I think I can see like Bravo 14 and stuff. But yeah, this should be Romeo. I'm not sure why the direction arrows, I mean, other than it's probably a bad model in the between the two. So this is where like Taxi Tuner is supposed to help, but I haven't like done anything with that, so I might want to take a look at that one of these days. I don't know. We'll see if I get motivated to try to fix this, because it really ends up being just that one segment. Now we're okay, and then the next left is going to be hotel. So, and again, now is Bravo 6, like I see Bravo 3 and Bravo 13, so in theory we go around. See, but now this is hotel. I mean, there's always a bit of a delay on things. So yeah, it was a little sloppy on the image as well. But I would think Bravo 6 is on the outside. But, well, no, maybe those are the odd numbers. So 6 might be all the way toward the front, because 14's kind of in the middle. Alright, and we've got, I don't know if that's a Southwest, like an interesting paint job of one. I think it is. That's curious. That's a Delta. So we'll get here to the gate, and then we shall be done. I'm going to assume, let's see, can I see what they're called? No.
Airbus 450
So I'm just
Alpha
going to
Bravo,
go
proceed to the cargo ramp via
here,
taxiway Lima, contact ground on 121.9.
because I'm assuming it's
Proceeding to the
246.
cargo ramp via Lima, contacting ground on 121.9, Airbus 450
I'm going
Alpha Bravo.
whoop. All right.
Taxi
We're gonna
123
call
via
this here.
Bravo, Papa, Bravo 1. United 128.
Oh, okay.
Bypass pin
So we
inserted.
can't
Just let me know
turn
when you're
off.
ready to start the pushback.
Let's see. Maybe I'll go ahead since I'm at a gate.
FedEx 1307, approaching runway 23 left at Delta 1.
Okay, so we got the engine shut down. Get the APU going in case they need it. Turn off the ground or the landing monitor. But at this point, I should theoretically be able to do GSX. Alright, well, we're at gate B10. So, not the right one, but let's see what happens. Interesting, the refueling service is on the way. I want deboarding. It's doing all these things I don't need. How about moving the jetway? Deboarding requested. All this other stuff. Okay. Anyway. So, we are here all set, but the airport's not cooperating. So yeah, I don't know. B6 might have been all the way over there. Alright, no passenger stairs. You will not see passengers visually. So, that's why the jetway is not going to work with us. But in any event, we're going to go ahead and shut down say intentions. Jetway not close enough. And then, yeah. Alright. So, there we go. Our passengers are deboarded. Baggage unloading in progress. We've got fuel and all that. But we've made it to Indy. So, they're going to go enjoy the Brickyard 400. I hope you have enjoyed this trip into Indy. Maybe found my style finally that works. So disengaging the autopilot a lot earlier, I think calmed things down a lot because I wasn't chasing it. Because what ends up happening is that throttle, like if we look at this throttle, that autopilot, auto throttle button's on the front. And when we're coming down and landing, like it's already, if it's auto throttling, it will have slowed it so much that I can't get to the button. So, and you know, I can map a key, I suppose, but I don't have any extra keys to do that. I have the autopilot disconnect mapped, which is what you normally need to do, and normally what would cut the auto throttle, but it does not on this plane. So, in any event, hope you've enjoyed this, and I will see you next time.